Now, tonight, we follow the president around his trip to the Middle East. Several damaging stories back here at home. Ousted FBI Director James Comey will testify before Congress after Memorial Day. This amid emerging reports the president called Mr. Comey a, quote, nut job in that controversial Oval Office meeting with top Russian officials. And that federal probe zeroing in on the White House itself. ABC's John Carl also in Riyadh for us tonight.
Shortly before President Trump landed in Saudi Arabia, word of a coming showdown back home. James Comey has agreed to testify after Memorial Day in public before the Senate Intelligence Committee. The questions surrounding Comey's firing are mounting.
Well, I certainly would like to know the circumstances that led up to his dismissal, and particularly those conversations, direct conversations with the President of the United States.
President Trump's meeting with top Russian diplomats the day after he fired Comey is casting even more doubt on the official White House explanation for his abrupt dismissal. I just fired the head of the FBI. He was crazy, a real nut job, Trump boasted according to the official summary of the meeting read to the New York Times by an American official. I faced great pressure because of Russia. That's taken off. Today, the Russians insisted they didn't have anything to say about Comey in that meeting. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov telling reporters, "We have not touched this topic at all." But in an interview for This Week with George Stephanopoulos, National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster didn't deny President Trump brought up Comey.
The firing had been in the news, but I didn't know in advance that the president was going to raise it.
When repeatedly pressed, he would neither confirm nor deny the specifics of that conversation.
Is that what the president said?
Well, I don't remember exactly what the president said.
Yeah, the president of the United States telling the Russian foreign minister in their first meeting that the pressure is off because he's fired the FBI director investigating Russian interference in the campaign. Does that seem appropriate to you?
As you know, it's very difficult to take a few lines, to take a paragraph out of what appear to be notes of that meeting. The intent of that conversation was to say, what I'd like to do is move beyond all of the Russia news so that we can find areas of cooperation.
Festering saga is surely on the minds of the president's closest aides traveling with him. ABC News has learned the FBI investigation into Russian meddling has now spread to the president's inner circle, with a senior White House aide considered a person of interest. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson was asked today who that person could be.
I do not have any information or knowledge regarding the person of interest that's been referenced.
And Jonathan Carl joins us now, also in Riyadh. Jonathan, the president has consistently complained about the number of leaks coming from the White House. How does this compare to other administrations you've covered? And are conservatives right when they warn of the so-called deep state working against the president?
Well, Tom, I don't know if I would call it a deep state, but I've never seen anything like this. You have had multiple circumstances where details, actual transcripts of conversations that the president has had in the Oval Office with foreign leaders have ended up on the front pages of newspapers days after the conversations took place. I've never seen that with any other administration.
Chief White House correspondent Jonathan Carl in Saudi Arabia for us tonight. Jonathan, thank you. And George will have much more from that exclusive interview with General McMaster tomorrow on This Week.